here to show you a walkthrough video of my latest travel album. So this is a 3x8 album from Ali Edwards' shop. I'll link to that below. And this is documenting our February 2020 Disney trip. So I took kind of a unique approach to this album, and sort of working under the parameters of 29 things. So something unique and interesting about this trip is that we were in Disney World over Leap Day this year, so that was super fun. Just to have like a kind of a bonus day. But basically operating under the idea of like 29 being the leap day and 29 stories and things from our trip that I want to remember. And so this is by no means a chronological scrapbook, which is the first time, I think the first time I've ever done that with one of my travel albums, is not working chronologically. But I have so many Disney albums from trips that we've taken in the past, and so I just wanted a different way to tell the stories. So what I've got here in the inside is, this is a journaling card from one of Ali's kits. This is mostly Ali Edwards products throughout here. Actually, that's not true. It's a mix of Ali Edwards and Ellie Studio, primarily. Some other things thrown in, and I'll point those out as we go. And then I used a Stories by the Month stamp that says "For the Love of Story" at the top, and just wrote about sort of the way about this album, the way the stories are told and what it is. And then I used an Ellie Studio label to stamp out the dates of our trip. Here, this is my opening page. This is the numbers 2 and 9 from the list story stamp from Ali Edwards, and just stamped them in a bunch of different colors, randomly all over the page, and then used Ellie Studio puffy stickers to write things. Then inside the first page is a full-size photo, which is a little bit bigger than 3x8. It's the same size as the page protectors, of my nieces in their princess dresses in Disney World, in Magic Kingdom. I used a Ellie Studio label down here with a stamp from Ali that says, "I've got my eye on you." And this view card is from the Watch Story kit. These are both from the Watch Story kit as well. So a little bit journaling about, this is a great quote, and then a little bit of journaling just about the trip from my perspective, and sort of why it was so special to me to be there with them for their first time. So one of the things that happened on this trip is that I surprised my nieces. They are 8 and 3, and they didn't know I was going with them. So I surprised them at the airport. This is a photo of me in the car at 3:45 a.m. and a little bit of journaling that I did on Instagram about going to meet the girls at the airport, and my brother and his wife, of course. And so this story card here is just one of the 2x3 story cards from a kit from Ali from a while ago, sort of talking about the way that I surprised them. And so what I've done for each page, more or less, or for each story, I've included a number. These are the acetate numbers from the list story kit from Ali Edwards, and that was my jumping off point for this whole idea. Was I had this set of numbers, 1 through 31, that I just felt inspired to tell my story this way. So I've used little bits to embellish each page as we go through. And so you can see stories 2, stories 3. So here I've got a 2x3 photo, and then some journaling. So any of the journaling that's done on a colored card like this is printed from my photo printer on photo paper. And I just made a journaling block, colored it in Photoshop, and then did my journaling on top. The other thing is that I've kind of written all of my journaling. I've done something I've never really done before, and that I've written my journaling sort of to the girls. This is an album that will live at my house in my collection, but the stories are about them and my feelings and experiencing this with them. So it made sense to me. That's just kind of how it came out. A little Ellie Studio 3x4 filler card here. And then this is from the Ellie Studio Magic Memories collection. Just a little die cut that says "At the Castle." And then what I did here is I was inspired by my friend Susan, and I'll link to her Instagram below. She's Little Things, Little Things Big Days, I think is her Instagram handle. And she recently did a mini album where she used tiny little shipping tags to create sort of rings or inserts for her inserts in her album. And so I have a tag punch from Stampin' Up! That I used. Let me grab that real quick. So I just used this tag punch from Stampin' Up! To create my own tags. So they're just, I used 2 pieces of cardstock and glued them together and then punched holes in them so that they would line up. And I just am really tickled with the way that that came out. So thanks, Susan, for the inspiration. And then on the back, another Ellie Studio card that's just some handwritten journaling about the castle. This is a rubber piece from Felicity Jane there. And then here I did 2 inserts about all of the princesses that we've met. I've never met so many princesses on a Disney World trip before. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm an adult and I don't have kids of my own, so that, it's just not my thing. So we met almost all of the princesses on our trip with the girls, of course. And so this is actually a 3x8 layered template from Allie's shop. I believe it was from my Week in the Life kit or digital templates. And so it had little "love this" sentiments on them, and I just deleted those from the file before I printed them. So this is all one sheet of photo. It's just one page, just 4 up. And then I had an extra photo, so I did that as a 3x4. This is wood veneer from the Ellie Studio Magical Memories kit collection. And then on the back, another Allie card with some journaling about meeting all the princesses. To do the type journaling on manufactured journaling cards, printed journaling cards, I just made a 3x4 template in Photoshop, and then I measure out how much of this is already printed, so it's a little bit more than an inch, and then just put this right in my printer and run it through with my text on there. All right, story number 5 is about my niece, and she had the idea to take this photo like she was holding Spaceship Earth, the golf ball, as she called it. And so a little bit of journaling to her, just printed right on the photo, and then some embellishments on the top here. Trying to figure out how to include the numbers in creative ways was interesting. I didn't want to just staple them to all my photos, and sometimes I didn't really have space depending on where the journaling was and what's in the photo. So these are acetate shapes from the Magical Memories kit from Ellie Studio. And so here I just punched holes in the star directly and then stapled my number 6 to it for my number 6 story. Ellie Studio card. This is a Allie Edwards card from the Rest story kit paired with a photo of my youngest niece totally passed out during one of the shows we took her to see. A little bit of embellishment there. Here, this is a full-size page, so the same size as the page protectors, and I used, these are tags that I cut down from old Project Life kits. They're cards, and so I just trimmed them down to be sizes that I would use and without the rounded corners. So I've got 2 tags here. I just did a little bit of journaling. What you can't really see, and I'm kind of disappointed about that, but it says currently on my mind up here underneath. But I kind of replicated that in the front. So currently, and just some bullet points about like what was going on for story number 8. These are puffy stickers from Ellie Studio. I didn't have enough R's, so these are upside down J's that I used in place. And then a full-size photo. So this is just, you can see, just cut in half of us with Mickey. 2 photos of my nieces riding the carousel. This is a Ranger tag that I love using in my mini albums. And then I just used an Allie Edwards alpha stamp set to stamp out "A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes," stapled on my number 9. and did my handwritten journaling on the back. And then on the back side of that, I like to do a lot of interactivity in my 3x8 albums because they're so small that I feel like if they don't have some bells and whistles to them, that they can be a bit boring for my personal taste. So I've got story number 10 is about how my husband and I gave my nieces for Christmas before their trip little coin bags that we bought off of Etsy, full of pennies and quarters so that they could do the pressed pennies, and then we gave them like collectible coin wallets that they sort of slide the pennies into once they're pressed. And so all over the parks and hotels and anywhere we went, they were obsessed with doing that. And so just a little bit of story about that. This is a Ranger tag in a smaller size, and I just have these in my stash. Ran it right through, again, measured it out, created a template in Photoshop, and ran it right through my printer. And then some Ali Edwards phrase stickers as embellishments. I do try to keep and again, because my albums are so interactive, I do try to keep them light on embellishments, sort of, or flat on embellishments. For the most part, because otherwise they get too chunky. And this is just a vellum pocket that I created by just taking a strip of vellum, folding it around my tags, and then adhering it with adhesive on the back. 3x6 photo of my niece with a happy little moments. This is a piece from Ellie's studio. This is an old Project Life card from one of the Becky Higgins kits. And then up here, I just stapled the number 11 right in place. For story number 12 is all about riding the Skyliner, which is one of my most favorite things to do at Disney World. So here I've got, this is a 3x4 card, I believe from Ellie's studio, or no, I'm sorry, a Felicity Jane kit. The sticker is from Ellie's studio, and then the number 12. And then this at the top of my list word phrase sticker is from the list story kit from Ali Edwards. And then inside my journaling is sideways because my photo is oriented that way. And sort of a flip out journaling printed on photo paper. This is an old Ali Edwards card that I had in my stash. So I just went through with my mild liners and highlighted in similar colors to what's in my album and what's on this card, some of the feelings that I'm feeling, and then did some journaling underneath on an LA Studio card. On anything that sort of isn't necessarily intuitive that it flips up, I included a Avery Index tab. So these are LA Studio cards, both of these LA Studio mini dated extras stamp set, and a photo of us on the safari. This is a fun technique I learned from Pam Garrison in the first travel product play class from Ali Edwards when she first released the 3x8 size albums. And so basically it is a 9x12 page protector let's see, how many is that? It's 9 3x4 pages. And so you just cut off 2 rows of 3x4s, and then you trim off the edge here of like where the next set of holes would be for the album, and make it, then you use a bone folder to fold it, and then it flips. So I've done this in all my 3x8 albums. And so this is a story about the, what was it? The Move It, Shake It, Mouska Dance It street party, which was so fun. And my youngest niece loves to dance, and was dancing all her way through all the parks. And this was our first like dance party that we were a part of. So super fun. And then I did an extra flip up because I had so many photos that I liked from this moment for this story. Did an extra flip up with my journaling underneath. So this card is from the Ali Edwards list story kit. And then this is an old Ali Edwards kit of maybe from a Stories by the Month. And then my husband did this crazy, wacky thing. My husband and one of our best friends drove down to surprise us on Leap Day, which was insane, to drive from Maryland to Orlando for a day, basically. So no one knew that they were coming. They surprised us in the park. literally just walked up to us while he was tracking me on our Life 360 app that we share on our phones, and knew exactly where I was. So he walked right up to me in Animal Kingdom. And so this story was a huge story and a huge part of our trip. So after we were at Animal Kingdom for a couple of hours together, we went over to Magic Kingdom. And they had park tickets for the day. And so just photos of all of us. These are all PhotoPass photos, and then just a selfie that we took. And then inside, I had him do the journaling. I asked him to send me his version of the story because I thought that that was more valuable than my perspective. And then I sort of wrote my reaction over here. This is just a piece of cardstock, colored cardstock from Stampin' Up! That I printed right through my... it's a template that I have from an old 3x8 album that I did. So just repurposed that. And then on the back, a photo of our little family. This is a puffy sticker from LA Studio. Then I did a little pocket insert. So this is some patterned paper from LA Studio, and then more tags inserted. LA Studio sticker of our dog wearing, he forgot to bring her ears, so we just tried our ears on her. And then more journaling about that. Let's see if I can get that back in there. Okay. And then again with a little inserted number, because I didn't really have a place to put a number on this story. And so I used a heart this time with the number 18. 2x3 journaling at the top, and then a series of photos with my sister-in-law that I love. Our photographer was really funny. This was a PhotoPass photo, and she told us to do something, and it was really, really funny. So that's what this story is about. Photos about meeting Belle and being part of the Belle's story time. I forget what it's called. Story time with Belle or something like that. This is from the, this is a 3x4 card from the watch story kit from Allie Edwards. And I just cut it down to 2x3 and put it on top of my journaling as a flip up. These are both old Felicity Jane 3x4 cards. I just trimmed them down to be tag sized. Just because I needed a way to include a number here that I didn't really have a way to do. And then on the back is just, it's a good day. It was a good day. Another one of those flip ups. Oh, this is just a flip at the top because it's at the top of the page. Felicity Jane card on the back. This is a card from the watch story kit, and I just did my journaling on there. Photo and journaling printed together. I did a little strip of vellum to sort of make it so it wasn't so busy, so my number popped a little bit more, and that turned out well. Another horizontal insert. I don't care about the orientation. I kind of like the mixture. In an album this small, it's easy to manipulate back and forth. You couldn't really do that in like a 12x12 or something. So this is a little photo spread of us going to the PhotoPass studio at Disney Springs and having a lot of fun there. And so neat photos of my nieces, and then photo of all 5 of us together, and then my journaling printed on photo paper and my number included in there. Here I did a little 2x3 flip, which was kind of fun and different. So this is just a piece of vellum with my number on top. And then I did photos of my niece and I riding roller coasters together, which our faces are hilarious in these photos. And then journaling to her about that. Meeting Jessie, who is my youngest niece's absolute favorite. You can see she's dressed like Jessie, so Jessie was super excited to see her. And so I just wanted to write a little bit about that. So this is story 24. This is a 3x4 paper pad that was included in the list story kit, and I just trimmed off the top part and then sandwiched it together with something that I cut the rest of the card into 2x3 and then just pasted this on top. So a little bit of room for journaling there. And I didn't need to do a ton of journaling there because there's more journaling about Toy Story Land back here and our experiences throughout the day. This card is from the Magical Memories collection from LA Studio. And then this is just an LA Studio card for my stash. Then on the back here, I've got one piece of acrylic, which is by far my chunkiest embellishment in here, and this is from Ellie's Studio from the, I believe it's part of the Title Builder 4 collection. And a shaped photo, because I love that in my albums. Again, just something different, something to mix it up so it's not just the same old thing. Lots of type journaling here. Another horizontal photo of all of us with Woody and Jessie, who are by far our favorite meet and greets. These stickers are both from the Magical Memories collection from Ellie's Studio, as well as these stickers. And this is just a nighttime landscape photo of the Slinky Dog coaster and Jessie and Rex in Toy Story Land, which is, I love that. This is an old Allie Edwards card here, and I just did type journaling on there about finding my Skyliner popcorn bucket, which was a must-do. And here I did a little bit of something for the first time in the album, which is cutting the number off the edge of my photo so it interacts with the edge there a little bit, which is kind of fun. And then I did it again on the back. Again, because I didn't really have a place to put a number here. This is a super old Allie Edwards journaling card that I've had in my stash forever, and just finally used it to tell these 3 little stories about my niece and just living her best Disney life the whole trip. This is a little story about Frozen and what that sort of means to me and what that means to these sisters. So journaling there, and then a flip up with my number on it. So this is just some vellum, and then some photos of the girls meeting the princesses underneath there. Whoops. And then these are some bonus stories. They weren't big enough for like a number. They were just some extras that I wanted to include, and I sort of had this weird space. This photo didn't really fit. I wanted it to be bigger, so used it to fill the space. A photo about our best friend Darius and him, like how grateful I am for him driving with my husband and just how awesome he is with the girls and how much they love him. And then having Mickey waffles for the very first time. And these are 3x4. I just printed these. Let me pull one out so you can see. I just printed them as one card. So this is just photo paper, and I just did this in Photoshop and printed that out. And then my last story is story number 29, a photo of my nieces and I at the castle. And on the back, I just did some gratitude, what I'm grateful for about this trip. And this thankful is from, I think, the gratitude story kit, perhaps. And then a word phrase sticker from Allie Edwards. And then on the back, I love Baby Yoda and Baby Yoda memes, and I had found a couple before our trip. I had found a couple that were Disney related. So this top one is him and the Mandalorian, and he says, "No, we are not stopping." And then they're riding together in Dumbo, which is hilarious. And then 8 a.m. on work days is old Yoda, and then 8 a.m. on Disney days is Baby Yoda with a Mickey balloon and a sorcerer hat and a pretzel and ready to go. And so I just adhered those to the back of the album because they're fun and reminiscent, indicative of the time that we live in right now, so, and things we're into. So that is my Disney 29 Things album. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten some ideas for if you want to work on a 3x8 album. I know the size can be intimidating and can be challenging. It's actually the thing I like most about this size is the challenge of how can I creatively, it's kind of like a fun puzzle, and I like puzzles. How can I sort of fit what I want to fit in here and do it in a way that's interesting? So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing so you'll get a notification when I have new content and new videos to share with you. Thanks for watching.